Something is being built behind the gates in Santa Clara, and you cannot see the whole thing in one practice photo. The defensive look has changed. A brand new role has surfaced. A rookie already has a locker room nickname. Even a quiet departure is showing us how this roster is being reshaped. Faithful, lock in. Today we are connecting those clues because the 49ers' real plan is hiding in the details. If you want the inside read, subscribe to 49ers Express. And wait until you hear what Nick Bosa saw in a rookie who studied his moves before he ever reached the NFL. The first clue showed up before a single game was played. Raheem Morris started putting five-man fronts on the field. Freeze the formation, and it looks like a simple numbers change. Follow what is happening behind the scenes, and it feels like an attempt to bring unpredictability back to a defense that needs to control the matchup again. Morris has even created his own language for one of the pieces on that board. He calls the role a fever backer. It is not a fixed position with a permanent label on the depth chart. It is a player who can change the identity of the defense without forcing the coordinator to substitute. Morris described these players as the guys who create subtle changes. A fever backer can play the star, show up on the edge, work as a big nickel, line up at the line of scrimmage, or use his hands against blockers. That versatility may sound like an August detail, but it creates a major strategic advantage. If the same personnel can show a 4-3 and then behave like a 3-4, the opposing quarterback loses part of the answer he gets from substitutions. The defense does not announce the pressure before the snap. It holds the decision until the last movement. There will be noise because this is new. Communication, gap responsibility, and coverage adjustments all have to survive real game speed. A versatile defense on a whiteboard can turn into confusion on the field when two players read the same motion differently. But the Niners roster has exactly the kind of raw material that makes this more than a cool concept. Michael Williams is listed as an edge, but he can slide inside and change the front without leaving the field. Romelo Height can rush standing up, put his hand in the dirt, or drop like a linebacker. When Williams moves inside, Height can become the speed blade off the edge. Jaden Duggar takes the experiment even further. He is an off-ball linebacker with the size and athletic upside to offer more as a pass rusher, and he played safety in college. Morris has said Upton Stout could play safety or dime linebacker. Nick Martin entered the league living in that space between an oversized safety and an undersized linebacker. Jair Brown handled dime linebacker work last season, while still carrying his main identity as a safety. These are not 6 players fighting for one chair. They are 6 different ways for Morris to hide where the next problem is coming from. That is the inside read. The coordinator is not simply installing plays. He is searching for combinations that can lie to an offense more convincingly. Every piece on the field changes the job of the pieces around it. That takes time, but it may also keep this defense from becoming predictable when a 4-man rush does not get home. I can live with a few installation mistakes if they are building a unit that can change the answer after the opposing offense has already broken the huddle. What I cannot accept is creativity without discipline. The fever backer only becomes a weapon when all 11 defenders understand the fever he is supposed to create. While Morris moves pieces around on defense, a nickname inside the quarterback room has already revealed who is making noise on the other side of the ball. Mac Jones calls Stribbling the Flying Hawaiian. That was not a line manufactured by the marketing department. It was a veteran reacting to a receiver who brings both speed and strength, 2 traits that do not always arrive in the same package. Jones was not ready to force a player comparison, but he said he believes the rookie can become a very good player. Comments like that start traveling through a building when daily performance is winning over the people with the best view of the field. Stribbling was born near Honolulu and went to the 49ers with the 33rd overall pick in the second round of the 2026 NFL Draft. His college path took him through Washington State, Oklahoma State, and Ole Miss. In 2025, he caught 55 passes for 811 yards and 6 touchdowns. At the Combine, he ran the 40 in 4.36 seconds and posted a 36-inch vertical. The numbers back up the nickname, but the decisive part is not the stopwatch. It is the receiver room he entered, one that has been forced to redistribute its responsibilities. Ricky Pearsall will miss the entire 2026 season. Mike Evans sits atop the hierarchy. Deebo Samuel gives the offense his own role. Stribbling is battling Christian Kirk, while San Francisco decides who becomes the second or third receiver. This is not a decorative camp competition. Every rep moves the rookie closer to early snaps, including situations where Purdy needs someone who can stretch coverage and handle contact. Speed opens the door. Route understanding, timing, and quarterback trust decide whether he stays on the field. Mac understands the weight of that trust. He probably will not throw many passes to Stribbling once the season starts, as long as Purdy stays healthy. His words still carry context inside the building. Last season, Jones went 5-3 as the starter and helped steer the Niners into the playoffs while Purdy dealt with turf toe. When he notices that the rookie is not only fast but strong, it gives us a window into something the highlight clips still cannot show. Now Stribbling faces the test that separates a fun nickname from an important story. He has to turn explosiveness into reliability. With Pearsall unavailable, San Francisco does not have the luxury of waiting months for that connection to develop. It would also be unfair to demand that one rookie replace a receiver projected for a central role. The answer has to be collective. Evans controlling physical space, Debo moving the structure, Kirk competing on routes, and Stribbling threatening the field in ways that force defenses to respect his acceleration. The building gave us the first clue. The depth chart will tell us whether the Flying Hawaiian can already change the offensive plan for real. Not every internal move comes with excitement. Some appear on the transaction wire and quietly end months of persistence. The 49ers and William Bradley King reached an injury settlement, closing the edge rusher's run with the organization. He had been waived with an injury designation on July 29th and reverted to injured reserve the next day. With the settlement complete, he will be able to pursue another opportunity around the league once he is medically cleared. That departure may look small next to Morris's experiments or a rookie's rise, but it exposes the unforgiving side of roster construction. Bradley King arrived in San Francisco on August 14, 2025, after a tryout. He was waived on August 26th, returned to the practice squad the next day, was released again on August 29th, and came back on September 24th. In January 2026, that persistence earned him a reserve/futures contract. He kept knocking until the injury stopped the competition before the opportunity could grow. A Kansas City native, Bradley King played at Arkansas State and Baylor. He recorded 51 tackles, 15.5 tackles for loss, 9.5 sacks, and 4 passes defensed in 27 games, earning recognition in the Sun Belt and Big 12. Washington selected him in the 7th round of the 2021 NFL Draft. Stops with the Commanders, Patriots, Dolphins, and 49ers followed. He has 7 tackles across 4 NFL games. This is where I lower my voice because there is a human being behind that depth chart adjustment. Life on the roster bubble is built on callbacks, phone calls, and a handful of reps to prove everything. The settlement lets Bradley King move forward when he is healthy, while San Francisco opens a spot to evaluate other defensive linemen. The competitive demand on the Niners does not change. The rotation has to find production. For Bradley King, a different kind of fight begins. Any serious fan should be able to hold both truths at once without romanticizing the roster or treating a departure like nothing more than a cell on a spreadsheet. Maybe no clue connects the past and future of this defense better than Romelo Height's reaction when he learned what Nick Bosa had been saying about him. Height studied Bosa in college and added the Stars' swipe move to his own bag. Selected in the 3rd round in 2026, he suddenly found himself sharing a building with the player he had used as a model. Their first meeting gave him the chance to ask about moves, routine, and preparation. Admiration makes a great story. What happens on the field matters more. Early in camp, Bosa said he had never seen a rookie defensive lineman absorb a system this quickly. He said Height picked up the scheme faster than he did as a rookie and praised his explosiveness and pass rush arsenal. Coming from an all-pro who made an immediate impact himself, that carries weight. But faithful, this is the part nobody should ignore. Bosa had never said any of that directly to Height. When Jennifer Lee Chan shared the praise during the interview, the rookie said it gave him chills. Then he brought the focus right back to the work. Keep stacking good days and stay humble. He is not trying to live off his idol's approval. He just received confirmation that the invisible work is showing up to the most demanding evaluator he could have in that building. Height would love to follow Bosa's path and win Defensive Rookie of the Year. His stated priority, though, is to contribute and let the sack total come from the work. The 49ers are coming off a season in which their pass rush finished last in the NFL with only 20 sacks. This is not a luxury being added to a dominant unit. It is an attempt to restore an identity that should scare quarterbacks. His fit in Morris's structure makes this more intriguing. Height can stand up in a 3-4 front, rush with his hand down, drop back, or become the speed edge when Michael Williams slides inside. Learning Bosa's technique does not make him a copy. It gives a mobile player another tool for the disguises Morris wants. If the learning curve stays this fast, San Francisco gets young pressure next to Bosa and a defender who can hide the unit's intentions. So I am opening the Niners war room to the community. Build the first pressure package you want to see with Bosa, Height, and Michael Williams, and drop it in the comments. I want to see how creative this fan base gets because Morris has the pieces to make offenses declare their protection before they know who is actually coming. My read is simple. Height does not need to carry the burden of fixing last season's 20 sacks by himself. He needs to keep learning, find a role that amplifies his explosiveness, and make opponents pay whenever their attention drifts toward Bosa. If that happens early, those chills from the interview could become the first chapter of a partnership that puts fear back at the line of scrimmage. All 4 stories point to the same activity behind the scenes. The 49ers are searching for players who can change roles, hierarchies, and expectations without revealing everything at once. Morris is testing a shape-shifting defense. Stribbling is forcing his way into the competition. Bradley King closes a chapter defined by persistence. Height is turning years of study into an opportunity beside Bosa. The plan feels bold, but execution will judge it once the disguise disappears and the ball is snapped. Faithful, let me know where you stand. Which of these changes deserves top priority inside Santa Clara right now? Rank them in the comments, subscribe to 49ERS Express, and follow every clue with us before it becomes a headline.